Welcome to Powering Up Your Lessons with Pear. I'm Debbie Tannenbaum, and I am so thrilled to share this tool with you today. You can find me at pretty much all social media at Tannenbaum Tech. And to get the slide deck that we're talking about today, it's bit.ly TTIT or Tech Tools in 20 Pear Deck. So TITT Pear Deck. So let's go ahead and get started because I have a lot I want to share with you today. So first we're going to start and we're going to talk about what is Pear Deck. Then we're going to talk about who would use Pear Deck and why would they use it. Next, you're going to see quite a few examples of how you can use Pear Deck in your classroom. And then finally, I'm going to share with you some resources if you want to find out more. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to go to this link. So it is apppeardeck.com student, and you can click directly on this link or go to joinpd.com and enter the code. So when you do that, I'm just going to show you what will happen. You'll enter it with your Google account. And the first thing it always asks you when you go in is how are you feeling? There's always an SEL check. So I'm feeling great because I'm super excited to share this. So then it's going to go ahead and let me get started. So when it takes me here, it's going to take me to the whole slide deck. So you actually have a copy of it here as well. And so when you do that, we just talked about our objectives for the day. And so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do right now in that Pear Deck is I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. And I want you to tell me if you've never used Pear Deck before, if you've heard of it but never tried it, or you use it in your classroom. So I'm going to go back to our original slide deck, and I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to get started on that. Once again, you're going to joinpd.com, or you can click on the link and you're entering the code in. Remember, you're going to tell me what you already know about Pear Deck. You have about 30 more seconds to do so. Okay, we're going to continue on. Thank you for sharing that information with me. So we're going to actually get a chance right now to try a Pear Deck slide. So what I would like you to do is, we just did this where we had to say what we thought we knew about Pear Deck. So now let's actually get started. So let's talk about what Pear Deck does. Pear Deck takes any Google Slides presentation and allows you to make it interactive using a variety of slide types. You just got a chance to try one of them. The one you just tried is the multiple choice. So you tried that one already. You can also have text, which you'll get a chance to experiment with in a little bit. You can do numbers. You can have a website link. You can have a drawing slide. You'll also get a chance to play with that in a little bit. And you have draggables where you can move something. So lots of different choices here. So now we're going to talk a little bit about why somebody would use Pear Deck and what would they use it for. So one of the things that I love about Pear Deck is anyone can use it. Any age works. I use it with adults. I even use it with kindergartners. So it's not a tool that's dependent on an age. It's really adaptable. I also love the fact that you can use Pear Deck for any subject too. I can use it for math. I could use it for social studies. I can use it when I'm doing a digital citizenship lesson. Anything works. I also love the fact that it turns an ordinary presentation into an interactive experience. You're even seeing that here. What I'm using right now is called a student pace, so you control the pace of it, and yet this is an asynchronous session where you're watching something that's pre-recorded. So why else would we use it? There's so many pre-made templates to choose from. If you go into that template library, you'll see that there are so many you can use. You can pick ones for beginning of lesson, during lesson, after lesson, and all you need to do is click on it. I'm going to just exit full screen for a minute because I actually want you to get a chance to see this. Because I think that that's important when you're working. I'm going to go ahead and open up a new tab just so you can see what it can do. So right now I'm in a slide presentation. Okay, I can click right here and open up Pear Deck to get started. So that's one way that I can get started. Another way that I can get started is I can go to the add-ons and I can click Pear Deck add-on. So I have lots of different ways I can do this. So when I look at what's here, I see that there's all these templates. So I showed you the beginning, but there's critical thinking and there's subject areas. Even one of the things I love, which one doesn't belong? You have graphs, so many options. So this is definitely something that's worth checking out. Now, when it comes to actually looking at this, regular Pear Deck gives you all of the top 4. The bottom 2 are premium, but you can get a premium trial, so I definitely suggest it. You'll also notice that you can add audio to a slide. So if you were doing an asynchronous experience, your students could then listen. So let me just show you. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to pick one of these. Let's pick an SEL one. So let's say this one. I click on it. And before you know it, that slide's now in my slideshow. It's that easy. I also can make my own. So I could say, what do you think about Pear Deck? I can go back and I can scroll up and I can take this and I could turn this into a text response. I know it's a Pear Deck question because it will show on the bottom. I could make it a drawing or a multiple choice. I have so many choices there. So just to kind of let you see, and adding that audio in, I just press record, something that Google Slides has needed to be easy. What do you think about using Pear Deck? I pause it, I click done, and I save it to my slide. It's that easy. Okay. Like I said, you can also make your own slides interactive. There's 2 different options. The one you're using right now is called Student Pace, and in Student Pace, the student controls the pace. I'm expecting you guys to stay with me, so hopefully you are, because I can't do Instructor Pace in an asynchronous session. Instructor Pace, you're in control. So I loved using Student Pace when I had centers. I liked using Instructor Pace like if I was doing a focus lesson. You can save your student work after the fact. You can use them as takeaways. Takeaways are a document where you have each student's answers and you can give your students feedback. There's also this brand new thing called Review and Reflect, where students can then look at it and really reflect on what they did. You can even export your results to a spreadsheet. So you have so many choices here. One of the other things that I really love about using this is that there's lots of different views that you have. So the teacher dashboard is what we're looking at right now. It gives you superpowers. You can look at things in a list. You can tile it, or you can even overlay it so they're all on top of each other. You can see how many students are in and see which students are in. So that's pretty powerful. You can choose toggling from student paste to instructor paste. And so that gives you a lot of options here. So what I'd love for you to do right now is I'm going to give you about 3 minutes right now. And this is a drawing slide. I told you I was going to let you play a little bit. So what I'm going to do right now is just go back up here to that slide deck. And like I said, you have this entire slide deck here as well. And right now we're on this. You're going to notice that you have a highlighter, you have a pen. One of the things that my students showed me is that you can make that pen bigger or smaller. You have text, and you have all these colors to pick from. So go ahead, share at least one reason. You can share more than one. As the teacher end, I can look at them all. I could even display them if this was a synchronous session, but I can't wait to see. You never know, I might give you some feedback on it. So go ahead and take 3 minutes and share at least one reason why somebody might use Pear Deck before we go on to the examples. About 30 seconds left, so go ahead and share what you think might be a reason somebody would use Pear Deck. Okay, finish that thought up and we're going to continue on. So let's talk about some examples that you could use in your classroom. So if you've ever learned about Castle, this is one of my 5th grade teachers. She had her students create mood meters. So they can drag that icon, that's that draggable slide where they can put it, and then there's an overlay so the teacher can instantly see how her students are doing. My kindergarten teachers were masters at using Pear Deck. So you can see in this one, filling in putting the number that's missing, showing numbers using a tens frame. Just lots of great ideas, making 17. So these are just a compilation of many different ideas as we're scrolling through. Okay, this is a grade 1 example. So this is a drawing one, and what the students had to do is they could do that cross and count. Then they could figure out how many tens, how many ones, just like what we showed. If you came to my Wixie session, you would have seen a very similar example in Wixie. This one is taking something from Common Sense Media. All I did was make this a drawing slide. Easy for our kids to get to, easy for them to use. I love using Pear Deck to show math thinking. So in this particular example, students are solving unit rate. Students can use something like this where they're using the pen to show their thinking. I had one student who used a number line to show her thinking. It was amazing. We can use them for science lessons, having students describe the difference between a series circuit and a parallel circuit. I also use it in professional development. This one, there were 3 different icons. This is that draggable slide. I asked you, are you red? Do you not know Flipgrid at all? Are you yellow? You kind of know it, or green, you really know it well. And that way I had a very easy visual to look at. I use it for thinking routines. This is a thinking routine called I Used to Think and Now I Think. I'm doing a session on thinking routines on Thursday. And so I love this. This is this drawing slide. This person said they were below the surface. They didn't have a clue, and now they see they were doing it. As the teacher, when you're working in Pear Deck, you get to see what everyone's doing. You can call on 1 or 2 people, or you can have everyone involved in your lesson with Pear Deck. So I'm going to once again have you go back to our slide deck that's self-paced. We only have about 3 more minutes left, so I'd love for you. This is a text slide. I want you to right now think about what ideas do you have now after looking at this for using Pear Deck in your classroom. I'm going to give you about a minute and a half to do that, because I do want to, actually, I'm going to give you about a minute and a half to do that, because I do want to make sure I get to share some last minute things with you. Okay, you have about 25 more seconds, so go ahead and finish those ideas. I'm hoping to be able to post some of the collaborative ideas inside of the resources so you can look at them after the fact. And let's start wrapping things up. So there's so many resources to use. Pear Deck has an amazing amount of resources. This particular video kind of just shows how to get started. This is by Stacy Roshan. She's near me in Maryland, and she also gives you some great suggestions. So these 2 videos are amazing. This is the Pear Deck handbook. And there's just so many resources. Basically anything you would like to do, you can, and you can just sign up for that there.
In this video,
So we are about at time. Please, please, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. My website is tannenbaumtech.com. I'm also giving you a link to my Facebook group if you're interested in joining it, where we support each other in our pursuit of using instructional technology. You also will have several blog posts down here. So Pear Deck to the Rescue shares how some of my teachers have done some amazing things from last year. So definitely check that one out. How to tech up the math with Pear Deck and what's in your toolbox. But please also give me feedback. These sessions are quick. And just so go ahead and tell me if you're interested, what you liked, suggestions, and if you're interested in joining our mailing list so that you can continue the learning. So with all of that, I am going to finish things up. And I really want to thank all of you for coming today. I hope that it was helpful. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.